What's up guys, my name is Liam, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Turtle Beach Vulkan 2 TKL Pro. Yes, this is a true TKL keyboard, and it does come with rapid trigger. So how does this stack up against the competition, and more importantly, is this going to be the perfect gaming keyboard for you? Let's check it out. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that this was sent out to me. However, everything you're going to be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Really quickly, here's another shot of the side of the box for those of you that care to read the details. Included inside the box, it does come with a user manual, this USB-C cable, and also comes included with this wrist pad. It is made out of this kind of squishy foam, so very soft, and it's very comfortable to use. It kind of has this finishing on the surface where it feels somewhat similar to something like a cloth style mouse pad. But as I was going back and forth and using it, feels great. I just am kind of nervous due to the fact that it is white that I will get it dirty really easily. So taking a look of the keyboard itself, when I first saw this, even when I first got it in hand, I thought this was a low profile keyboard. I was actually incorrect. As you can see, this is a full size keyboard here. It just has these lower style keycaps on here. And I do really like the look of this, but I do want to say that right off the bat, as I've been gaming on this, you know, I get kind of fidgety with my hands, and I like to kind of push up underneath the space bar from time to time, and these not really my favorite because they do sit up kind of high, so your finger kind of gets under there quite a bit, and it does have a little bit of a sharper edge down here underneath them, so not exactly the best feeling in the world. But the overall design of this, it does have a top aluminum tray right here, but then this bottom piece down here is plastic. And taking a look over here on the back, it does have these rubberized feet, but these rubberized feet are pretty smooth. I've been playing with a lot of these very heavy aluminum tray keyboards recently that feel like a brick sitting on your desk. So with this smoother type of rubber and the fact that this is so lightweight, I did kind of find this moving around on me time to time. But they do have this feet design. It is a double feet design, so you can have this one setting to lift it up, and then if you wanted to lift it up a little bit higher, they do have these secondary feet right here. So these work great. They do have a rubberized bottom on here. Again, like I said, even though it hasn't been the grippiest feeling on my desk, at least you don't have to worry about it sliding all around on you too much. They do have this volume knob up here in the top right hand corner, and this is a plastic volume knob, but works as it should. You press down on it to mute it and allows you to adjust the volume up or down. But when it comes to the switches that are included inside the keyboard, this has actually been probably the most impressive part for me, because I was not expecting this to come included with these Gateron switches. So really quickly, let me go ahead and grab the keyboard for those of you that are interested at looking at the internal design. So I'm not exactly sure the exact model of Gaterons that these are, but as I was taking a look at them on the inside, they are actually coming pre-lubed, and they do feature the dual rail design in them. So these switches, they do feel really good, solid and stable, just as these Gaterons always do. And the spring actuation force on them, it does feel a little bit on the lighter end to me. It is feeling like they're a little bit lighter than the Lecker 60s that I currently have in my Wooting keyboard. But like I said, all around, really impressed that they actually use those in here. So if you wanted to modify these switches, that does give you the easy, accessible option to do so. But since this case still does have the plastic housing, I do feel like this keyboard is a little bit on the louder end. So let's go ahead and drop a sound test. Okay, so let's do an overview of the software, and you have to have the software installed to properly use this keyboard, especially to use it with rapid trigger, because coming out of the box, this does not come enabled with rapid trigger. So let's go and jump into it here. Just click on this once you do get the Swarm 2 software set up. So as you can see, it's going to start out, you have these 3 option tabs right here. So if you have the primary function enabled, you have your configuration keys over here. And say, for example, you wanted to adjust a key or anything like that, you cannot press individual keys when you're using the primary mode. You just have to come over here to adjust the global setting. And this is where you can adjust where you actually activate the key press at. So I'll leave it at 0.1 for now to demonstrate. So if you wanted to use rapid trigger, I'll just jump straight into it. You have to use this game mode tab. So how this works right here for the software is, first off, you have to configure in the software and then you have to enable it on the keyboard. So what you'll need to do to enable game mode is you need to hold down the function key on your keyboard and press this Windows key right here. Underneath it, you can see the G button looking indicator here. Once it starts flashing white is when game mode is enabled. Something to keep in mind is when you have game mode enabled on this keyboard is the Windows key will no longer work. So if you go to hit the Windows key in game to pull up your start menu or anything like that to tab out of the game, that function no longer works. And on top of that, the caps lock key will not work as well. So if you forget to turn your caps key off and then turn on game mode, that will remain locked with how the firmware for this keyboard is currently set up. So unable to use the Windows key or to turn off the caps lock, you will need to then turn off the game mode by again just holding function and pressing on the Windows key, but that is very easy to do. So over here, back to the software, you can individually select keys in here, as you can see there, or you can just drag and swipe to select all of them. Come down here for the rapid trigger. So come down here to adjust the global settings, but then you have this other multi-input actuation point down here as well. Then you do have this third mode over here, which is the easy shift mode. To enable the easy shift mode, just hold down function, and this is where you're gonna hit the caps key. Every time you turn this off, the keyboard is gonna default back to this primary mode. And then finally, you do have a controller option here where you can assign these controller keys to keys on your keyboard. So pretty straightforward stuff. Down here, it does show you the layout of your keyboard. If you wanted to make any changes to the function buttons or anything like that, it does give you all of these options. So you can set up some profiles, you can adjust illumination keys. Here's the system keys, Windows function keys. So this is all pretty straightforward stuff. I don't currently see a DKS setting here where you can do multiple inputs on a single key. I'm not sure if I'm just missing something, but perhaps that is something they can add in the future. But for now, I'm not seeing that on here. And then finally down here, the last tab is where you can adjust the lighting of the keyboard, set up custom, turn it on or off, adjust the brightness, and they do have these different types of presets here for you. They also do have this Hall effect lighting effect on the keyboard. It looks really cool. It shows you the actuation distance that you're using currently for that key. And I do feel like this is a pretty cool looking feature. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate for you guys some of the issues that I'm having here at the 0.1 millimeter on the press. Let me show you really quick in the software the settings that I have applied here. I do have a game mode enabled on the keyboard currently. And as you can see here, I do have 0.1 on the actuation, 0.1 on the downstroke, and 0.1 on the upstroke. So if I were to come over here, and I'll demonstrate for you in game shortly, but let me show you in the text pad. So if I press down and hold A, I'll get repeated keys, but as I slowly start to release the key, as you can see there, I'm still getting constant inputs the entire time that I am releasing on that key. And in fact, it's not only that I'm getting constant inputs, it like will accelerate and give you a rapid sense of input. As you can see there, it like almost speeds up the keys as you're releasing it there. So let me do it one more time. So I'll press it down and then slowly releasing it. The entire way I'm releasing up to the top. All right, so now we're in the shooting range in Overwatch, and you can see here that I'm getting the same issue. If I press down on any key and then go to release it, I'm still gonna get those inputs. So I'll do it slowly. So even if you're trying to like feather the key or something like that, you notice that as you're releasing it the whole time, you're still gonna be getting those inputs. After I come back over here in game mode in the software, select all the keys, come down to the rapid trigger setting and adjust these to 0.2 on both the press and on the downstroke. What we're looking at here is if I were to slowly release it, as you can see there, I'm not having the issue anymore. Now, at the very top there, as you can see that you do get a little blip up at the top. So again, I'll press it. And then once I get to the top, it does give you one additional blip there at the end as I come to the very top. And this is kind of an issue that I have with even if you're typing, but as you can see at the very tip there, you do get that one additional input. Let me see if I can give you an example here. So even if you have it at 0.2 and you're typing, sometimes, see right there, I just got a multiple input where you'll press a key and it will give you a double keystroke. Let me see if there it goes again, right there. Boom, a double keystroke. So now if I were to come back over to the game mode, select all the keys, come down here to the rapid trigger function. So if I do set all of these keys to a 0.3, then I haven't really noticed too many issues with the 0.3. It has been working pretty normally. And I have messed around with the release at the 0.1. This doesn't seem to be so much an issue with the release. It just seems to be an issue there that I am actually having with the press on the keys. But I have been testing the setting out quite a bit in game and coming all the way to the top. As you can see, I'm no longer getting errors, coming up slowly, 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 and it just released all the way at the top. So with the current state of this, with the firmware, I have found that you have to play it. You can't play anything on a 0.1 or a 0.2 on the press without getting those falsified inputs. You have to set the press to 0.3, and you can have the release still at 0.1. When it comes to the performance of the Vulkan 2 TKL Pro, I did put this up against the Wooting in my high speed motion camera testing. And a quick disclaimer, as I put out there in all of these tests, that this is not the most accurate form to testing latency out there. There's a bunch of different varying factors that can actually alter the results of these tests. I do try and measure everything up and line everything up as perfectly as I possibly can, just to try and get an idea on where this sits. And as I was going back and forth and comparing them to one another, the one thing that I did notice is that this Turtle Beach actually did a really good job at hanging with it in terms of the overall performance. I did run this test 10 times for both the Wooting and the Turtle Beach, but the Wooting still did seem to pull ahead a majority of the time, actually winning on the press 5 times, also winning on the release 7 times, and then the Turtle Beach won on the press once and it won on the release twice. All right, guys, so that wraps things up on the Vulkan 2 TKL Pro. I do like the design choices of this keyboard. The switches they use in here are great, and I also really do enjoy the dual flip out feet on the bottom. But coming in at the $150 price point, the keyboard market has changed a lot, especially when it comes to these rapid trigger style keyboards, and I can't see this replacing my Wooting keyboard or even recommending it over some of the more premium filling options that come in at even a little bit cheaper. They have a full aluminum case, some of them even being gasket mounted, having pour on foam in them, and overall just feeling like a much more premium typing experience. And though I do feel like the option on here to be able to switch between different modes is kind of cool, especially if it would appeal to someone like you, for me it's kind of gimmicky considering the fact that I've been using my other rapid trigger keyboards without any type of issue for both gaming and not even changing the settings at all. When I go to editing videos or typing, I get just a solid experience from start to finish. And the one major issue that I have had with this is the problems that I am having currently with the firmware. I have been in communications with Turtle Beach about it. Hopefully that is something they can get it buttoned up. Even when I'm just using this in the primary mode without the rapid trigger enabled, I've had this set at a 0.3 millimeter actuation, and that has seemed to fix all the issues for the most part. But every once in a while I'm typing, I'll press a key and I'll just randomly get like 5 inputs. So hopefully the firmware is something they will be able to get addressed in the future. All right, guys, so if you have any questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.